Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the secret Bulbie and Bunman agreement. Yes, you could call it a treaty of sorts. But now you should know, Clans and one another are not exactly best of friends. Both gangs are aligned to both major political parties. Klansman aligned to the PNP, one another aligned to the JLP. But enough time war going on Spanish Town, and people assume it's clans versus one another. When enough time, it's internal war. You see, of all the quote-unquote dons in Spanish Town, Bulbie is the most 90 octane of them all. Him tick every box when it comes on to being an actual 90 octane. He was a don, right? He was politically aligned, right? He cared about politics. And you see, there's one of boxes with tick to be, right, an actual 90 octane. There are some money just run the place, right, and then them get the title of don because them can send out people on some hits and them can, send for you and make you dead. But in terms of being a true 90 octane, Bulbie, right, is a perfect example. So in other words, there are some people who are dons but not 90 octane, but every 90 octane is a don. So early clans and Monada wars were very grimy, and most of the bad blood that was established between them was from the Bulbie and Booba days. Right? But this back and forth war in the old capital would put both dons under pressure. Even though they were clearly aligned to major political parties, there is a point where even politicians will start make calls and say, listen, we need to start work out something because this will get ugly. Right? Not because they want to save lives, but because it's hurting them politically. Right? Imagine your children fighting and you can't stop them. And that's exactly what clans and one another are. Originally, they are the children of your favorite political parties. Right? And the parents them can't manage them. So when they get too hot, people start make the call. Yo, tone it down. Yo, election will come up. Yo, the media said this. Look good. Booba was very unpredictable. This also made him very disposable. Remember, one of the rules them of the traditional don is that certain times of the year, especially during election time and when time the cameras are on, right, tell your 87s them to tone it down. After Booba dead, right, and by now you've probably seen the Booba video them do, and check it out if you want, right, Bunman became the new don, right, Andrew Hope aka Bunman. He was a slightly different type of don to Booba. Remember the earlier political side, I'm telling you, sometimes you tone it down and don't do certain things in that area, right? If you have to do things over yasso and make you look too bad. Bunman was more interested in playing ball, so to speak. Right? So Bunman, right, was another example of a 90 octane. You want the political links with the badness links. He might the type of 90 octane where love the lifestyle. You see, he want to be a don and a cha-cha boy at the same time. Right? He want to live the badness lifestyle and the playboy lifestyle at the same time. That right there, so, is something that don't normally work out too well. Right? You have to find out why. But then, Bunman and Bulbie would end up striking a deal. This was possible because Bunman was more open, right, to negotiations. Both dons would not initiate any attacks on the other. Although to be honest, based on how Bulbie operates, that type of deal would more benefit Bunman, right, because enough people in one another couldn't even get to Bulbie even if they wanted to. Right? Even people in our clans couldn't get to Bulbie so easy. Right? Bunman was easier to find and get to. So that deal, right, where both dons would be left alone basically, no attacks would be carried out against them, that benefited Bunman greatly. There was also to be less attacks on the 87 level. So the back and forth, anywhere you catch man, that was to be toned down. The problem with any such deal is that you're still dealing with 87s, and they are prone to violent outbursts with no warning. So even though this deal was on, you don't know from time to time man and man catch up, but for the most part, the thing quiet down. So when Bunman take over one another, Bulbie wasn't as concerned as people would think. He was more concerned with something that was going on internally with Klansman. They're going to hear about it later on in this video. So October 2005, Bulbie gets killed. Klansman is now under new acidic management. One time you see a business was locked down and new management take over, you don't know where you're going to get. Right? That happened with gangs too. So now Bulbie gone and a new set of man, right, I start to quote unquote run clans. Remember, there were various people who were vying for the leadership position. Everybody I say, them are the better candidate. Of course, by now you should know, in the end, Tasha Miller became the Don. Right, but for during this time period, it wasn't as smooth as people think, right? There was various people who they feel say are them supposed to run him. Nevertheless, are the same man them who did their own from Bulbie days. So now, Bunman had got extremely comfortable. Certain precautions where him used to take, him kinda ease back from it. Because in a field mind, it's not necessary anymore. Remember, him and Bulbie work out a thing, but then Bulbie got dead. Here is the mistake Bunman made. After Bulbie dead, he continued to live like so the agreement still stand. As if him have any guarantee so the new man them, right, but take over clans, business both him and Bulbie agreement. So after Bulbie get killed in October 05, by early 2006, Bunman would end up being killed himself. I did a video covering it, right, Klansman, dressed up in a school uniform, killed Bunman. Right outside our school, where him await him schoolgirl. Bunman was very sloppy. This sloppiness came from the early agreement he make with Bulbie, when enough people never even know about. But that agreement make him feel say him can just go on him want, do what him want do, the bad not trouble him. That was only the case when Bulbie was alive. Some of you who remember when time Bunman dead, who remember say one of the first narrative was that police killed Bunman. It's enough people in a one order, enough people in a Spain, right, who knew about the agreement and know say Bunman was moving around comfortable for a good while. Right. When he ended up dead like that, people say police kill him. That is how, right, the old capital would go up in flames. People start burning this and burning that. Afterwards, people realized it was clans that actually killed Bunman. This new set of man not only didn't care about going to war with one another, but they relished it. Now earlier I mentioned that Bulbie, right, was more concerned with internal clans issues than actually going to war with Bunman. I will tell you what going there, son. You see, there were other senior clansmen who had gotten too big for them boots as far as Bulbie was concerned. Him see them money as more of a threat than Bunman. There was simply no way one other was going to wipe out Klansman. It became obvious even from then. Klansman had grown to become a massive gang. Right? One other could not wipe them all completely. Right? Bulbie was aware of this, and the fact that Bunman was open to negotiations made things even better for him. But there was a chance that a local Don could cause Bulbie real problem. You see, Bulbie was not an accessible Don. Very few people in the gang even know what him look like. Enough man does hear about this Bulbie figure. A great example of this was a youth named Humphrey. He was Klansman, but he was a part of a faction with them built called Renegade gang. Humphrey was a notorious 87, but Humphrey used to burn the diet coke hard. He also had people like Cracker and them man there who, well, they go hear about him. Bulbie said no gang can't exist in a clan's place, and made the call to wipe out all of the top members of Renegade. But now if you understand this, during this time period, people had dropped like fly, and people think that it was one order and clans a war. Humphrey was number one priority. How them get out Humphrey? Well, car pull up and the man them tell him say he must forward. Them time that wasn't unusual for a car pull up and man say, oh come we are go here so, and people just gone. But this time things were different. Guess who pull up na the car? I gave one of the name them. City Post. You see, we need to get used to this name, City Post. But this is just to show you how long City Post, right, in the madness. Humphrey smelled the rat and said to people, say, if him not come back, right, I them man kill him. He even tell people that. Say, I'm going to the car, but if him not come back, right, I them kill him. Cracker, right, even start make talk and say, you know the general no return, man I go dead. Yes, even then, people were well aware that when somebody like City Post come and call you, and because he want to go KFC go buy chicken with them, right? And because he want to go play ball, people know what City Post and female team was about. City Post's nickname in the gang was Lucifer, but you could call him Harry Potter because he know how to make people disappear like magic. Humphrey went to the car, and to this day, nobody has seen a strand of hair from Humphrey. But that wasn't enough blood. Remember me telling you, say Cracker did I make a certain talk. Other people in the community did say, right, this can't go so. Well, City Post will lead another team and come back and kill Cracker for his insolence towards the Don Bulbie. Every statement people make, I reach back to the 19 years. So now Cracker get killed shortly after Humphrey vanish. Renegade start get wiped out one by one. The lesson was harsh. Bulbie wanted to make it clear there was only one Don in the clans. And that's why to this day they are obsessed with the term one Don. It actually started from Bulbie days, long before the Tesha and Blackman War. Now you might be thinking to yourself, then hold on. Cracker them and Humphrey them, if they are as dangerous and violent as you say, or they must get wiped out by City Post and them and this. Well, you see the Jamaican government I say, that they want to get all the illegal guns. Right, they want to disarm gangs. And you see, them even not offer money for guns now. Bulbie was using this strategy even from then. Get all the guns. Except he wasn't getting them, handing them to the police. Bulbie, right, cleverly disarmed the Renegade man them, right, shortly before wiping them out. Remember, in the gang from time to time, you say, right, send back the gun them over here, so. Because they might tell them, say, oh, you know, say, police are going to raid, or them tell them, say, you know, say, we are getting new this. It don't matter. When time word come down, send the gun them, people don't send gun, and then them see gun come back. So it wasn't that unusual, right, for hear say, send nobody gun them. Renegade man them who, right, officially were Klansman, send over them gun. They were disarmed. They were disarmed because Bulbie was about to send the man them who were not saying Renegade, the man them who him consider loyal, wipe them out. So now Renegade man them start to feel how most civilians feel in a bad man place. Defenseless. People like City Post and them man, Carvel and them man, still have them gun. So by disarming the Renegade man them first, it means that no war was possible because where them go war with. Right? When they get killed off easily and quickly. It's even gangs know you have to disarm 87s before going after them. Many of the strategies of how to stop a gang can be learned by looking at how the gangs themselves operate. Leaving gunmen with them illegal firearm, right, and give them one hobby or give them one program to make them cool to kill time is farcical. As long as the man them strap up, right, it's a ticking time bomb. I mean, look at the recent flare-up in Spanish Town. This is after the era was being lauded as a success. So the Mad Post and him team kill Humphrey, kill Cracker. Right? You got to a point where, right, people were trying to appease Bulbie, right, by help setting up them own Renegade bridging and then still dead. That's how determined Bulbie was. Right, so the Renegade man were dead off. Now, him never wipe out all of them, but the key players, right, the people who actually had power, right, to turn the community against Bulbie or, you know, rally a group of 87s, Bulbie wiped them out. Now, interesting enough, there was a youth who there was big debate as to whether or not him dead too. Because he potentially could be a threat. That youth was Smokey. Smokey is the son of Cracker, as in the same Cracker City Puss killed. City Puss is currently in prison, serving time for Cracker killing. And currently, Hezzy and Smokey are on trial with City Puss because they were a part of the same faction of clans. Spooky, right? Well, after Hezzy and Smokey end up get for them own strength, they would end up break away and form their own gang, which is the Bedbugs. I know this sounds like some kind of acidic soap opera, but this is real life. So going back to Bulbie, right, him realized from early so the local dance, right, could get more popular because they were more accessible. Right. This would make people get carried away and start thinking to themselves, them can run things and them can lock up away and do them own thing. Bulbie was not having it. He crushed any rebellion before it even started. You see, because so much Klansman that did, people assumed said it was one other killed him. This was before YouTube, right? So people were ignorant to street politics. If Klansman are dead, almost one other kill them. If one other man are dead, almost Klansman are kill them. So summer 2005, when people are dead like fly, right? Most bodies are dropping a short piece of time. Enough of that was Bulbie, quote unquote, cleaning house. These are all 87, these are all killers. They can only tame them to a certain point. And when time you're not physically around, like Bulbie, it make it even more difficult to actually make people listen to you after a while. Because people start see Humphrey, people are see Cracker, they must see them on them, they can talk to them, they can walk past them, heal them. That right there, so make them build a better rapport. As opposed to someone like Bulbie, right, who was basically a ghost with enough part and done shit. But what Bulbie lacked in attendance, he made up for with decisive brutality. Anybody who threatened him position is severely dealt with, even if them not directly tell him so, right? Them gonna challenge him. Of course, as you know, the gang will end up get split between Tesha and Blackman. But this split kinda catching up people by surprise because Blackman was a loyal 87 Tesha. Matter of fact, Tesha actually handed over power to him sometimes and say, oh, a black man I run the thing, right? Anything, talk to him. Black man had his own plans. So if you haven't seen the Bunman video on how them kill him, right, it's on the channel, you can check it out. You're going to see how a major young figure, right, get taken out very, very easy. He was very sloppy. Left him head back keyless. That's coming from a deal he make, right, prior. A deal we make with old management. But then, old management dead. New people take over. Now, before the video end, let me say this. The Renegade gang, right, Humphrey, Cracker and them people. The Renegade gang, which is basically a gang within the gang. Right? We know people interested in a film story. But them old time 87 then, it's hard to find picture upon them. But I'm going to try and put something together so we can do. Anyway, Patreon squad, big up on yourself. PIA, you don't know, more life. Vulture squad, stay circling. Blessed.